Welcome to Legends Forever, with Richard bringing you a place of remembrance for extraordinary lives that continue to inspire long after they are gone. Here, we honor timeless figures from film, music, sports, and culture, reflecting on their achievements, their influence, and the memories they left behind. Every tribute is a celebration of legacies that will never be forgotten. Reports circulating online suggest that Chuck Norris may have passed away at the age of 86, though no official confirmation has been issued so far. Despite the uncertainty, the claims have already sparked widespread reflection on his legacy. Norris built a formidable reputation in action cinema, particularly through films like The Way of the Dragon and Missing in Action, where his disciplined martial arts style and stoic screen presence stood out. He later became a household name on television with Walker, Texas Ranger, a series that reinforced his image as a principled and resilient lawman. Before entering entertainment, Norris served in the United States Air Force, an experience that shaped his discipline and career path. In addition to his professional accomplishments, Norris gained a unique cultural afterlife through internet memes portraying him as an almost mythical figure of strength. Whether these reports prove accurate or not, his influence on action media and popular culture remains significant and enduring. The passing of Nicholas Brendon at 54 has left a quiet void for fans who grew up with his work. Best known for playing Xander Harris in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he brought an understated sincerity to the role of the ordinary friend in an extraordinary world. His performance wasn't just comic relief, it grounded the series, offering moments of honesty, insecurity, and courage that felt deeply human. While he'd later appeared in shows like Criminal Minds and Kitchen Confidential, it was his work in Buffy that remained most enduring. Viewers connected with his imperfections and loyalty, qualities that made his character relatable across generations. Brendon's career reflected both talent and vulnerability, and many remember him for the emotional openness he carried into his roles. His legacy now rests not only in the episodes he helped shape, but in the lasting connection he built with audiences who continue to revisit his work. 45 years ago this week, the world lost Joe Louis at the age of 66, marking the end of a life that had already shaped history in profound ways. Known as the Brown Bomber, Louis dominated the heavyweight division for nearly 12 years, a record-setting reign that redefined excellence in the sport of boxing. His achievements inside the ring were extraordinary, but what made him truly significant was his impact beyond it. During the 1930s and 1940s, a time of deep racial division in the United States, Louis emerged as a unifying figure. His victories, especially in high-profile bouts, carried symbolic weight, offering pride and hope to many while helping challenge entrenched barriers. Unlike many sports figures of his era, he carried his fame with quiet discipline and composure. Louis was admired not just for how he fought, but for how he lived, with restraint, dignity, and purpose. Decades after his passing, his legacy continues to stand as a reminder that true greatness reaches far beyond titles and records. Doris Roberts passed away at the age of 90, leaving behind a legacy defined by longevity, talent, and an unmistakable on-screen presence. Over a career that stretched more than 70 years, she built a reputation as one of television's most dependable and engaging performers. She became a household name through her role as Marie Barone on Everybody Loves Raymond, where her sharp wit and commanding yet affectionate personality resonated deeply with audiences. Her performance earned her 4 Emmy Awards and widespread respect within the industry, but her true impact went far beyond accolades. Roberts had a rare ability to infuse her characters with both humor and emotional authenticity, making them feel vivid and relatable. Whether delivering a biting line or a tender moment, she brought balance and depth to every role. Even after her passing, her work continues to entertain and comfort viewers across generations. Through her performances, she remains a lasting and beloved presence in the world of television. 5 years ago this week, the world quietly said goodbye to Jessica Walter at the age of 80, a performer whose presence could be both commanding and disarmingly warm. She first drew major attention in play Misty for Me, delivering a performance that left a lasting impression with its intensity and psychological depth. For many, though, she became truly iconic as Lucille Bluth in Arrested Development, where her razor-sharp delivery and perfectly timed wit turned every line into something memorable. With a glance or a pause, she could command a scene, blending humor with a subtle undercurrent of vulnerability. In later years, Walter introduced herself to a new generation through her voice work as Mallory Archer in Archer, proving that her talent could evolve while remaining unmistakably her own. She didn't just inhabit roles, she elevated them, giving each character a distinct voice and presence. Even now, her performances continue to resonate, echoing with the wit, strength, and brilliance she brought to every role. He was born in 1925 in West Plains, Missouri, a place that didn't look like it was designed for big dreams. It was quiet, steady, and unremarkable in the way many small American towns were at the time, where life followed the same routines and the horizon never really seemed to change. For a young boy like him, it felt less like a beginning and more like a waiting room. His father traveled often for work, rarely staying long enough to anchor the household, while his mother held everything together with quiet endurance. The home was not unkind, but it lacked expressive warmth, the kind of open encouragement that tells a child they matter simply for existing. That absence shaped him more than anything else. He did not grow up in conflict, he grew up in quietness, and sometimes that can be just as defining. What filled that silence was imagination. He learned early that making people laugh changed something in the air. A funny face, a clumsy movement, a playful imitation, it could turn distance into connection. That realization stayed with him. He studied comedians with intense focus, especially those who used physical humor and timing as a language of its own. Even as a child, he began to understand that performance was not just entertainment, it was communication. It was a way of being noticed without demanding attention. And for a boy who often felt unseen, that distinction mattered deeply. Without knowing it yet, he was already building the foundation of a life that would one day belong entirely to the stage. Finding purpose through performance and service. As he grew older, that early instinct to perform turned into something more deliberate. He didn't just want to make people laugh anymore. He wanted to dedicate his life to it. But the path forward was not immediate or easy. Like many young men of his generation, his life was interrupted by the Second World War. He joined the military in 1944, hoping for a role that aligned with his ambitions, but circumstances placed him in positions far from what he had imagined. Instead of becoming a pilot, he served in roles that supported communication and entertainment for troops, performing wherever he was needed to lift spirits during uncertain times. It was in that environment that something important clicked. He saw firsthand how laughter could cut through fear and exhaustion. It wasn't just about humor. It was about survival, morale, and shared humanity. That realization changed his understanding of performance forever. When he returned home after the war, he didn't have money, connections, or a clear roadmap. What he did have was conviction. He began chasing opportunities wherever they appeared. Radio work, small performances, comedy acts with friends, anything that would give him a stage. The work was unstable, the rejections frequent, and the future unclear. Yet through all of it, he never let go of the belief that he belonged in front of an audience. That belief, even when unproven, became the thing that carried him forward. Years of struggle, work, and personal foundations. The early years of his career were defined by movement between cities, between jobs, between moments of hope and disappointment. He tried everything he could to stay connected to performance, even when opportunities were inconsistent. Some shows paid little, others offered nothing beyond experience, and many led nowhere at all. He performed in small venues, sometimes for audiences that barely paid attention, yet he treated every appearance as if it mattered. That persistence wasn't glamorous, it was survival. During this period, he also built a personal life. He married a woman he had known since his youth, and together they started a family. It was a relationship grounded in loyalty and shared history, but also stretched by the demands of an unpredictable career. He was often away chasing auditions and performances while she maintained stability at home. Over time, this imbalance became a quiet strain between ambition and responsibility. He loved his family deeply, but love alone could not always replace presence. Those years revealed a tension that would follow him throughout his life, the difficulty of balancing the public self with the private one. On stage, he was expressive, energetic, and fully alive. Off stage, he was often tired, uncertain, and pulled in too many directions, yet even in those difficult stretches, he never abandoned the work. He kept showing up, kept performing, and kept believing that something larger was ahead even when there was little evidence to support it. Broadway breakthrough and television transformation. Everything began to shift when he finally reached Broadway. The role that changed his trajectory didn't arrive as a grand arrival, but as a steady recognition of years of effort finally meeting the right opportunity. On stage, he brought together everything he had learned: physical comedy, emotional timing, and a natural ease with audiences. What made him stand out was not just skill, but sincerity. He didn't perform as if he were trying to impress. He performed as if he were sharing something. That quality caught attention quickly. Critics noticed the unusual combination of humor and warmth, and audiences responded to it instinctively. Soon after, television came calling. He was cast in a sitcom that would redefine his career and help reshape the medium itself. The show didn't rely on exaggeration or cynicism. Instead, it focused on everyday life, relationships, and gentle humor rooted in recognizable human behavior. At its center was his performance, steady, likable, and deeply human. The success of the show was not immediate, but it grew steadily until it became a defining part of American television. It earned awards, critical recognition, and a lasting place in entertainment history. What made it endure was not just writing or direction, but the feeling it created. That ordinary life could be both funny and meaningful at the same time. For him, it marked the moment when years of uncertainty finally transformed into recognition. He had not just arrived, he had reshaped what audiences expected from television comedy, cinema success, and the weight of fame. After television success, film opportunities followed. One of the most notable was a major family musical that became a global phenomenon. In it, he played a character full of energy, warmth, and optimism, qualities that aligned naturally with his screen presence. The film became a cultural milestone, beloved across generations, and remembered as one of the defining works of its era. His performance contributed significantly to its charm, blending physical comedy with emotional accessibility in a way that felt effortless. However, fame brought complexity along with success. While audiences celebrated his performances, public attention also began to fixate on details that overshadowed the work itself. Certain aspects of his portrayal were widely discussed, sometimes humorously, sometimes critically, and he responded with humor rather than defensiveness. He had always possessed the ability to laugh at himself, and that quality helped him navigate moments that might otherwise have been uncomfortable. Yet behind the public image of constant joy, life was becoming more complicated. The demands of fame, the pressures of maintaining success, and the expectations attached to his public persona created a growing sense of distance between who he appeared to be and how he felt privately. It was not a dramatic collapse, but a gradual shift, one that would eventually require reflection, adjustment, and change. Distance, reflection, and personal rebuilding. As the years went on, his career entered a quieter phase. The constant momentum of television and film slowed, replaced by less consistent opportunities. This transition was not easy. For someone who had spent decades in motion, the sudden quiet felt unfamiliar. At the same time, personal challenges added emotional weight to this period of his life, prompting a deeper reckoning with balance, health, and identity. He began to reassess not only his career, but also his relationship with himself. The public had always known him as cheerful and energetic, but he started to understand that maintaining that image required emotional effort that had long gone unexamined. This period was not defined by collapse, but by awareness, the realization that sustaining a long life in entertainment required more than talent. It required internal stability. Over time, he made changes that allowed him to rebuild. Work returned in new forms, including a long-running television role that introduced him to a younger generation. This phase of his career was not about reaching previous peaks, but about continuity, showing that a creative life does not have to end when its first chapter closes. He became a steady presence on screen again, bringing experience and warmth to a new kind of storytelling. It was not reinvention for spectacle, but adaptation for longevity. Later years, love, and lasting companionship. In his later years, life took on a different rhythm. He remained active, but at a gentler pace. One of the most significant changes came through a relationship that brought companionship, support, and renewed emotional balance. Meeting someone later in life who understood both his history and his present added a new dimension to his final chapters. Their relationship was not defined by public expectations, but by shared daily life, mutual care, and genuine connection. Alongside this personal happiness came loss. Friends, collaborators, and longtime creative partners gradually passed away, marking the natural passage of time. Each loss carried emotional weight, but also reflection. He often spoke with gratitude about the people who had shaped his journey, recognizing that longevity in life also means witnessing the fading of earlier chapters. Even so, he remained active, dancing, appearing at events, and engaging with audiences who continued to celebrate his presence. What stood out was not nostalgia, but continuity. He did not retreat from life. He continued participating in it, adjusting to its pace rather than resisting it. A life that continues beyond its own era. At 99 years old, his story is no longer just about career or fame. It is about endurance, adaptation, and the quiet persistence of joy. He has outlived the era that first made him famous, yet his influence remains present in the way comedy, performance, and television storytelling continue to evolve. His work is still watched, studied, and appreciated across generations, not because it belongs to the past, but because it still feels alive. What defines him most at this stage is not achievement, but presence. He continues to move, to engage, and to embody a sense of lightness that has followed him throughout his life. It is not performance anymore. It is simply being. The boy who once learned that laughter could bridge distance became a man who spent nearly a century proving it. His life does not read like a perfect story. It contains struggle, transition, success, loss, and renewal. But what remains constant is movement forward. Even now, in quiet moments by the ocean, there is still rhythm, still humor, still motion. And in that continuity, his story finds its most honest expression, not as a legend frozen in time, but as a life still unfolding in its own gentle way.